Eat them.
Hey there, and welcome to Game Snacks, where our top 100 is so much better than yours. I'm your host, Tommy Swags, and with me are the guys, Rickus and Toby.
What's up?
Dude, I've noticed Tommy's been on a trend for intros. They all have to do with our listeners, like whether they like something or don't, or ours is better than theirs or not. I feel like it's very alienating.
Good. Good.
Like,
Start some controversy up in this biatch.
My cousin is now unsubscribing to Game Snacks and disowned from the family.
Doesn't know how to subscribe to anything, so
he should. He's young. If he knows anything, it's technology.
Yeah, but
I think
He was born with an iPad and Fortnite.
And Fortnite, yeah. I wish.
That's a new thing. Like all new babies automatically get a
iPad and Fortnite. Preloaded on it. Yeah, no, we
the world.
we got a fun show tonight. So, top 100. So, IGN had put out this article of their top 100 games of all time. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to review the 3 modes of Call of Duty and
3 separate reviews.
We're gonna give it one review. Rickus is mad. IGN gave it. They reviewed each individual section with its own rating, but whatever.
Kind of weird.
No, what got me was it gave 3 individuals, but the 2 modes got up below 8, and they gave it an average of 9.
Yeah.
I'm not one for math, but you can't have an average of 9 if one's 7.8, one's like 8.1.
But what if the other one was 11?
Whoa,
if it goes to 11.
Right.
But I still think that's weird to have. Like, I would understand there are 3 very different game types, but it's still the same game. It's like you don't go and do a separate rating for single player and multiplayer.
He's smart.
I agree with you on that. I do agree with you on that. You don't typically have a multiplayer rating on a game and then a single player rating on a game. But I will say the 3 modes are very different, but we'll get into that when it gets down.
I mean, I understand reviewing like DLC because that's like an addition. It's not, the main game. It can have its appeal separate from that. But yeah, it's like if somebody sends out a packaged product, they didn't send 3 different discs. It's not 3 different downloads. It's one download for all that stuff. I think it should all be considered because it's all under the same price. You're not paying 3 separate prices.
Right. So, but they give it one overall rating, which is the one that matters. But they did also review each individual piece. I think it's just because it's the first time they had options. So,
I think IGN is dropping the ball, is what I think.
It is.
I think they're dropping the ball based on this top 100 list. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will, because our opinions are definitely better than theirs. So let's go ahead and hit the quick bites. Got a lot of information. So cue the music.
Quick bites.
We should change it to Indiana Jones. Dude, I would like that for a quick bite.
I would too.
We didn't have to pay major royalties for something like that. In fact, I think even you humming that just cost us like $100. I'll go first this week because I have just 2 super quick things.
Okay, sounds fun.
I haven't been paying attention, so
interesting.
I only have a couple things to say. One is I downloaded my Fallout 76 beta today, ready to dive in. It starts the 23rd.
Yeah,
so you can download it. Pre-download. So, and also they made us I'm a little confused. I'll have to look into it some more because they made it seem like when a beta launches, it's available up until release. But when I went and loaded the game, it said beta is available October 23rd from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time. And so I'm like, well, if it's until launch, why would they have that 11 p.m. when I would figure they'd just be like, it's available at 7 p.m. on October 23rd.
Right.
Until launch or something. So it's kind of confusing. On the homepage of the game, it makes it look like the beta is only available for 4 hours.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah.
or maybe it's 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. But still, like one day, because when they talked about the beta and getting it, they made it seem like normally a beta is like a weekend or a week.
Yeah, maybe they're new to this, so maybe.
Well, they said that your work through the beta is going to roll through to the real game, though, right? So it's just kind of like beta / early access, and they'll probably shut it down.
No, they already did the stress test.
Yeah. They're probably going to just shut it down like a day or two before the actual launch. Some games have done that where you can play up until then they just put like a hold on it and then you can resume.
Well, that's what I'm saying is they told us that we would be able to play up until launch, but the way the thing's worded on the home screen of the game, when you launch the game, you try to boot it up, you get an error saying the servers aren't live. Well, up at the top corner, it says beta will be live October 23rd from 7 to 11. So it's just the way it's worded is very weird. It makes it seem like it's just for those hours.
Yeah, that is very strange to say the least.
So we'll just have to see what happens with that. I'll just have to boot it up on Tuesday. The only other thing that I was going to talk about, it's not even really a quick bite, or it's a quick bite, but not really news. So next week we're going to do our Halloween episode.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about we're going to go through our top horror games of all time, and we're going to talk about horror games as a Halloween theme. I was just thinking about it. I don't think there are any horror games coming out this year. They've got
the like Resident Evil.
That's next year.
That one game that
they've been coming out with VR stuff.
Agony was one.
That came out early this year, and it was like
I'm just saying.
It was a indie kind of flop. I guess what I'm saying is normally almost every year you typically get at least like one kind of like bigger. Like last year we had Resident Evil 7. We had what was it? Evil Within 2. The year before that, you typically get one kind of like major horror title, and I don't think we have any this year, unless I'm missing it.
I
don't follow horror games. I don't play them. So my list is going to be like,
you don't care. You don't care.
I will do like a special weekend, maybe like Halloween night. I will play a scary game and stream it, and everyone can watch me like play it.
Be very scared about it.
We'll tweet TLC about it.
Tweet TLC about it. I get cut down again.
Well, I think for our list next week, I don't think it necessarily needs to be like horror. Maybe you could do like Halloween themes. So if it's a game or Call of Duty Zombies, or if there's a game that has like a Halloween mode.
Or a cool villain in a game or something.
Like Junkerstein.
Or I think it needs to be a game.
Yeah. I was thinking like...
or maybe there's like a mode.
Yeah.
There's like the Friday the 13th.
Junkerstein on Overwatch.
I like Overwatch. I'm not going to let you not talk about it.
Right. What about you, Rickus? Do you got anything for quick bites?
I do. Discord launched a gaming service this weekend or this week.
I heard Chuckles got to be a part of that.
Yeah. Actually, if anyone, I pay Nitro on and off, like give them $5 to help sustain because I like the service. If you have Nitro, you get like some free games on there. Kind of like if you have PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live,
right.
You get like some free games. Well, they also added additional games as well where, you know what Steam is, Steven?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's basically they're taking on Steam because Steam now has a voice over IP service as well. So now Discord has gaming service, or games you can buy from them directly, and also a voice over IP. They're already doing the voice over IP very well. So I'm interested to see where their gaming service goes.
Yeah.
Didn't Steam do like a big flush? Didn't they like kind of weed out a bunch of games off their service?
They did, and they let them come back. They were taking off like XXX games, like
games.
Well, I would figure too, with a service like that and having servers, you would eventually have to like kind of clean house a little bit. Like
what they were doing though, they were getting rid of games that were like scam games or not really games. They got rid of those, but they were also attacking like XXX games. Like
yeah.
And isn't there one other service I've heard people talking about on PC that's similar to Steam? I think
It's like the big one.
they said it came out before Steam. It's like God or Go something.
You may be right. There's pop. No, I can't see there not being another one out there, but the reason why I think Discord is a good challenger, or if not a good competitor or whatever, is they have 90 million subscribers and active people on there monthly. So taking those people and on giving them a chance to buy something through them, they actually can sustain that way. And they don't even have to subscribe. They can just buy a game through them directly. So they get a portion of that. So this is a way for them to earn money and generate money.
Right. And then I'm sure one of you is going to bring up that we now have the new competition with Google.
Yeah, that was actually number one on my list.
Ooh, let's hear about it.
So, I mean, the Google Stream has been out for a little bit now. It's still like in beta phases. I signed up for it, have not gotten into it yet, but I have been reading reviews on it, and everyone says it's running really smooth. They've opened it up with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so, AAA title, very graphics intense, and you can pretty much just pick up and play it on any computer in your browser. So I read this one guy was using a MacBook from 2015, so 3-year-old MacBook, and he was running it just fine at home. It said it only requires about 25 megabits of internet, which you can get pretty much anywhere in a big city now.
That's just like basic service.
Right. Yeah. So he said that he took it, played at his apartment and played at his dad's house. Only had a couple little hiccups. He said the server paused and shut down once or twice at each place, but over the span of playing for a couple hours at a time, had less than 1 minute of downtime or lag.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive for a streaming service, because I don't know if you guys have played like the PS View or whatnot. Isn't that what theirs is? Whatever PlayStation streaming is.
I think it's PlayStation
View is their television.
Yeah.
I think it's PlayStation.
I always forget it.
I think it's Live or something.
So where theirs is, they can do it, but they did just add to where you can download it. Microsoft's, streaming base is, you got to download the game and you're paying for a subscription to use the rights, like DRM. But Microsoft has their Cloud X, Project X Cloud or whatever, in the works. That's supposed to be the big competitor. Sony has not yet announced anything yet, other than that they're letting people download the game so they can play them offline, which is nice. That way you're not just in there playing like an old game and then you're lagging.
It's going to be crazy.
10, 20 seconds because their servers are, their input. Now, I will say on the PS4 Pro, you did pick up infinitely better on internet. On Wi-Fi, I'm getting about 100 megs down. So it's very, very different than on a traditional PS4. So they did up that. So you don't have to be plugged in to get 40 anymore. You can get fast speeds now. But
it's going to be crazy because I think the cable company saw the writing on the wall. That's why I think they were pushing heavily against net neutrality. Right. Because now it's just everything's going streaming. It's just going to eat up so much bandwidth.
Right. But I mean, think about that. That changes so much too. You can take AAA titles and you can play on just about any computer with limited, functionality. It just may not look as good, of course, but
general phones, tablets.
Mm-hmm. So I think Google's really trying to attack as being, the next generation console.
Well, because they have the infrastructure to back it up and they know internet. It's kind of funny just that looks like Ubisoft is like really trying to be on the forefront of this. Because
he's the one who said it. The consoles are going to. He's said that consoles were probably one more generation to go.
Yeah. And because they're one of the 2 games that have tried out streaming on the Switch and now with Google Play.
Right.
It's cool. It's like I have mixed feelings about it. It's like I think it's really cool the accessibility that it offers. Like, it's going to allow more people to be able to game. People who can't afford these giant, powerful machines will be able to play these games.
It's just crazy.
I just don't. It's weird to me to not be able to have the security that you can play this game forever. Because at any moment it can disappear from servers.
Yeah, then it kills the whole idea of like collectibles and
That's the only downside.
Where like movies are going. We went through that whole lifespan of collecting the VHSs, then the DVDs, and now the Blu-rays. But now you're getting
not even from like a collecting standpoint. It's just like because people buy digital stuff. It's just
you can lose stuff on servers, and depending
or they just decide to take it down. And it's like in say newer games, if it's a streaming environment coming out, if we get to a point where some games never release physical copies or never release downloads, they only go to streaming, you're at the mercy of people keeping that on the servers. Like, say you play that game and you love it,
Mhm.
5 years down the road, they take it off the servers. That game is gone. There's no way to ever access that game.
Right. I think we're still quite a bit of ways from that, old
I
man
think so,
Toby.
too.
So, don't worry about shaking your
But I
stick.
do agree, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to hurt for I think the collectors and stuff like that. I think it's a bad thing.
But I think that as long as the hardware and stuff like that, I think they'll still sell stuff.
And again, you got to think too. Like, think about how old songs are. There's songs from the '50s are on Spotify. I mean, these songs date generations. So and
I think it's way down the road that we're going to be an all streaming service, because the reality is they make more money selling you a physical copy than they do with you streaming. So I think initially we'll probably see something like with movies, like you have Netflix, but they're still selling DVDs.
But look at the plus side of that, though. If you play at $20, like let's say it's like Spotify, you have access to thousands upon thousands of games versus just your collection.
Oh, I totally get the benefit of it. I have Netflix.
I bet Steam's probably the first one that's going to launch a real subscription-based game.
So?
I think because, with how much it's catching on with Xbox and PS4, I think they're going to have maybe Steam Indie, and you can play a whole bunch of them. Well, yeah, I don't know that'll necessarily be full streaming, but I think they're going to be the first ones to take it to the PC. Okay. Just the whole streaming or subscription-based gaming. Once it hits the PC market, I think that'll make a big one. Speaking
technically, GameFly has already been doing subscription.
Yeah, that's garbage. You wait 2 weeks before you.
Only you wait 2 weeks. Only if you're swags and you live in Georgia.
So it was the same in South Carolina. It's better in Georgia. But Steam VR has updated a new software called Motion Smoothing. It's a new mode that they've added in their VR games, which allows the conversion of typical streaming at 90 frames per second down to a 45 frames per second with smoothing of the edges, basically, to make it look like it's 3 times as many pixels. What this allows is people that have those heavy rigs, if you get into a really graphics intense spot and you might start to get some pixelation or something, it can drop down as low as 45 frames per second and smooth out the picture, so you can't physically see much of a difference, but it's putting a lot less strain on your system, so it gives an even smoother, more accurate VR experience. It also unlocks the opportunity for people who don't have big-time gaming rigs to be able to play and enjoy VR. And with all this work on the Oculus Go and all these smaller versions of the Oculus they're coming out with, where it's just the headset and the controllers, they're really trying to gauge onto that smaller price point, because right now, if you want the big one, HTC Vive, by the time you get the whole set, you're close to $800. And so these other versions are coming out. They're partnering up with Steam a lot to really try to bring VR more casual and more accessible to people. I think the more easily it is to obtain, the more we're going to see bigger developers work to put out more quality games for it.
Interesting.
Pretty excited. I thought that was pretty cool that they're, that this has been one of the first pushes in VR enhancement that's been out. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. My thoughts are, get back to me when you have holodecks.
Microsoft just posted their HoloLens for sale. $3,000 for the developer edition.
They just posted it for sale?
They just did, yeah.
That thing was at E3 3 years ago.
Dude, yeah. But it's out now. You can physically go buy one, but $3,000 is a heavy price. No content for it. It's just a developer kit. So
gotcha.
That's kind of just sitting there. I don't know.
That was the thing that they showed us with Minecraft, right?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, the technology is really cool, but it's so expensive. No one's going to buy it.
Yeah. It's full-blown, super AR.
They're probably just sitting on it till the tech grows enough where they can make it at a marketable price.
Yeah,
probably.
I could see that.
And then last one I had was next Tuesday. Spider-Man's first DLC comes out, The Heist. That's with the Black Cat, and they just released New Game Plus, and an insanity mode, a new level of difficulty for those that want to go back and button mash a whole bunch on a bunch of bad guys. It's there. But first DLC comes out next week. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. I'll play it. I saw
the wait for a sequel. I thought the game was an amazing Spider-Man game, but after playing the story, I just don't really see a reason to go back. Especially when we're about to have Red Dead launch, Fallout 76. So many big games coming out. Even Pokemon. I'm gonna play Pokemon.
And Super Smash.
Super
All right, guys. Anyone else have anything for Quick Bites before we move on?
No, sir.
Your anus.
My anus is the main course.
Now for the main course.
Come on, man.
You set me up for that one. You set me up for it. Do you want me to go ahead and do my review first, then we can do our group chat about.
As long as your review is like a minute long.
There's no story mode in Call of Duty.
Yeah, there is.
You can't line for line narrate the whole story for us.
The mechanic.
There is a mini campaign mode. They call it the tutorial. So you go through like a little story and you get to play through as each character. They're not very long. It's maybe like a half hour per character, but there's like 8 different characters that you pick that all have their own special like ability.
So
just like Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Right. So they it's on the Battle.net app, so that's where I'm playing it from at least. So this Call of Duty, you had no real base campaign. You had your traditional multiplayer, you had your zombies, and you have your blackout mode. So the traditional multiplayer, it's pretty standard Call of Duty. They did add heist mode, which is just 2 teams competing either to kill the other team or to get the bag of money and evacuate to the evac zone without dying, or you kill the other team and then you do it unencumbered. It's fun. It's competitive, a little 6-on-6, just, chaotic. You die, it's over for that round. So it's not like that normal control or death match and where it's just, run and gun, boom, respawn, which they have that now. And they took out a lot of the triple jumps and all that crazy stuff. There's a couple of the guys that do have where they can get a bonus jump, or one of the guys has like a grappling hook you can use that just launches you from point A to point B. So you have a couple of mobility mechanics in there that are pretty neat. But the nice thing is they slowed it down. So it's not as just like running in like World War II and the previous ones where it's just like balls to the wall, boom, boom, 2 shots, you're dead. And it's just a matter of who finds who first. You have health packs in this one that if you're in the regular game modes, they just recharge. And so you can use them every so often. So you actually have a health bar. There's body armor in there to give you extra strength. And then the guns and the individual characters like they've had in the last couple where you've got like a guy who's got a flamethrower or someone who's got a stun gun. You got one that will lay out like a barbed wire fence so it slows people down. So you have all these different little tactics that you can do just to add a little bit more. But with having the health in there, it makes the rounds and your lives last a little longer. Sure, yeah, if you had a powerful shot, one snipe to the head, you're dead. But you can still go into a battle, escape, heal yourself, and go back in and re-engage and stand a chance. So it adds a bit more longevity to your life, which is fun, which they haven't had that like ever in a Call of Duty. So I've been enjoying that because it's not as spastic as the previous ones had been. But it's
did they include any modes in this like in World War II? Those, the larger game types where you have to take each point or something. It was almost kind of like, where it's almost
those are control points. So you have you have to go. It's not quite as in depth as it was in World War II. At least I haven't played them yet. If they have them, but they do have them where it's like you must capture point A first, and then you go to point B. And then sometimes it's a battle to see who can capture one individual point, both teams. But there are modes where you're on offense and the other one's on defense. So, so you got that too. All in all, it's fun. The regular gameplay still feels very Call of Duty-ish. It's still fast-paced, but you do get to live longer. You get like new perks and new call streak or like score streaks. So it's been a blast. The next mode was zombies, which I really, really like what they've done with zombies.
Yeah, I want to know about this.
This one, it's like I've only really played through the one mode because the first round I went through, it was 45 minutes for one game. So you're basically in this like medieval arena, like a Greek arena, and you're just like gladiators and you're fighting zombies. And so they're just sending waves of zombies, but you have modern weapons. Now, before you go into the game, there is a class structure. So you get to pick like support class, tank, mid-range, and long-range DPS. So you can have like your special ability can heal your team, or you can summon like a big hammer, or you get a little shotgun and a knife so you can melee real quick and then shoot stuff, stuff like that. So it adds a little bit of extra tactics, so you get to pick which one of the classes you want to be, and then from there you can like it throughout the game. So like I played the Berserker class, which gives you like a big hammer, so you can just melee and clean out like mobs of people. It's on a recharge, so it's like every minute or two you get to do it, but what will happen afterwards is the more you use it, the more you will level it up, so it gets stronger throughout the time, which is really nice. So you might do more damage, or like the hammer, like when you swing it, it shoots out electricity, and so you can do ranged attacks or something like that with it too. Another one, you've got like chakras. Yeah, like I don't know, I'm terrible at that stuff. But you can throw them around; they bounce off people. So you get some.
Is that what you meant to say?
No.
Shurikens?
No, they're like round, and they've got little blades on the corners. I don't know. Yeah,
No.
I'll show you guys a
The
picture.
chakra is like
Your spirit
is the spirit.
Yeah. But
I don't know what to do with them.
so yeah, I don't know. Forget the name of it. And so you can go through that. Then you have additional perks, like you can you have like the 4 gods. You can purchase their skill, but you can pick what skills the gods can give you. So one can give you like an instant revive, or one can give you if you reload your weapon, you like turn into like a lightning pillar, so you stun anything near you. So if you're like in a bind, you can reload real quick, stun all the zombies and escape, or you get more stamina, fast reloads. You got all these ways you can really customize your character, but it's just it's still a wave base. But what you're doing is you're unlocking ways further into the map to try to get to the leaders of this and try to like stop them. So I lasted 45 minutes into it and didn't finish. Not really sure how we died. Like no one died. It was just game over. So I don't know if someone like completed it because it was a little chaotic, but it was just like fun. You go through, you have like your in-game level up, and it wasn't as so overly chaotic and fast paced that that you just, like the old Black Ops zombies, it was just like so run and gun, and you were just sprinting every single which way, and it was just, you're always overwhelmed. This is a little slower pace, so it feels like you're
like the original
like a Crucible.
I remember us putting hours and hours into it and seeing how many ways we could play.
But this one has more of a point to it, and you have character individual build-ups, so you can build your character the way you want. So if you want to be... How
creepy are the zombies?
They're pretty creepy. I would say the thing that freaked me out the most was the zombie tigers. So they come out and they get like in your face. Their faces are all like mangled and blood dripping down, and they just jump at you and lunge. And then there's these like ogre guys, and then you have the zombies that have the helmets, so you have to knock the helmet off to get a headshot. So you have like more strategic ways on how you got to kill everything. So for me, I've probably had the most fun with the zombies over any of the other modes.
What about Blackout?
Blackout, I mean, it's like, honestly, it's like a better PUBG. There's no building in it, so you don't have like that Fortnite just chaotic aspect to it. But I mean, it's the same thing. You drop in, it's 100 people. You can go in groups. Everyone's all on the same plane. You dive off. You pick your spot to go. There's a couple spots, like one of the places is called the Asylum. It's actually like one of the old school buildings from the zombie. It's like this old abandoned haunted asylum, and there's zombies in there. So while you're like scavenging for guns, you've got players to worry about. Plus, you got zombies coming after you. So when you're firing and stuff like that, it leaves you vulnerable because people can hear the gunshots from pretty far away. So you get like attacked from NPC and players in the Blackout mode. It runs super smooth. Your lifespan is a little bit higher than what it is in just like a normal gameplay. So you take a couple hits, it's not the end of the world. You can pick up body armor, which is nice. So, and then they have like health meters on the body armor. So if you loot, get shot a bunch, your body armor's almost out, you can go find, scavenge, and get a new one to replenish it. You've got all the different little add-ons for your different guns, just like you do on...
Sounds very OP.
sounds what? No, quit reading Chuckles. So you run around, you get all your first aid kits. Same principle though. They give you a drop point. It starts to close in. The vehicles run really well in it. It's fun. So far, I've had really good luck. Every time I've gone in, people are actually playing with it. So you get a nice teamwork environment. Not as, I don't know, like it looks really good. So when you're trying to snipe or hit people from far away, you've got plenty of space, lots of cover and stuff to hide behind. So I think it's a really, really great, it's definitely next generation battle royale game. It really is. It's very polished. Runs very well.
Out with it now. What's your review?
One more piece.
Really
One more.
It was like 6 minutes. Yeah, dude, give me a second.
Long, bro.
Just because I don't say the game was good, it's a review. I put a bunch of time into this game for this review, so I could talk about it and share details with the people. I don't stop you during your reviews.
Oh yeah, you do. You make faces.
I make faces when I talk. So
no, you don't.
The one thing that I do like is it's kind of good and bad, but each mode has its own leveling system. So if you want to play like everything's completely separate, all 3 game modes, your perks, your all your stats, your experience, all that stuff, the way you level up is all different based on what game mode you play. So you might unlock everything in the regular multiplayer and have all your shit together, and then you go over to Blackout and you can't customize any of your loadouts or anything. Or the zombies, and all you're doing is starting with a pistol. You can't start with anything cool or have any special perks. So I think it's really cool that it really forces you, if you want to really engage with everything, you have to spend some time in each section. But they made each section different enough that it feels like you are playing a little bit different game between each one, just with the same controls. So really, really happy with it. I'm going to continue to play it. It's like a hot sauce 0.5. Like it's really close to being an awesome sauce for me. I'd probably like it better if more people bought it because I am just playing it by myself.
Hey,
but
welcome to my life.
I'm accepting donations right now.
And the old
accepting donations. So maybe if some of our viewers would hit that subscribe button, we could gift Rickus a copy.
Look at that! Subscribe,
or just give a donation. That would be fantastic as well. But
already hitting people up.
Yeah.
Got
the GameStack's official review on Black Ops 4 is a hot sauce. So thank you. Play it. It's a lot of fun. Get it on PC so you can play with me. There, I said it.
Apparently no one plays on console anymore.
Oh, consoles for plebs.
I already said PCs for plebs.
You're only saying that because you're the pleb without a PC.
Yeah,
I have a PC.
I just
choose not to game on it.
We can cut the tension right now with a knife.
Ooh,
slash
butter knife.
So we all kind of looked over. Toby, you want to go ahead and take over on this because you usually like our list guru. I have a couple things, like a couple comments.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like this was your idea for a topic, so
it was my idea.
I was kind of hoping.
I will run through it. So you guys got to check.
Are you guys going to read all 100?
I'm going to read all 100.
Oh my gosh!
But I'm going to go even numbers first, and then odd numbers.
That's so weird. Why would you do that?
So no, if you want a comprehensive list, it's just IGN's top 100. Pretty easy to find. I found a couple top 100s, but this one actually had a lot of games on it that I played. So
you found a list of characters.
So I cater to it, so I can be more judgy because I have experience. So I went through. I was to say the first thing I wanted to ask you guys is reading through the list. How many games did you play off this list?
I'd have to count. I would say 90% of them.
I counted them all.
Played.
Did you really? How many did you have?
I played exactly 70 out of the.
I'm probably close to that too.
Yeah, I would say I'm between 70. I guess 70 and 80% of them I've played. I do want to say. So you were talking about before the show that we would maybe kind of discuss our thoughts on their list, like their ordering. Then kind of talk about games we would add, and then games that they had on there that we would take off. Before we start, I would say that's got to be the hardest thing in the world to make a top 100 list.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like a big media outlet like that, where millions of people are going to go and tell you how you're wrong, like us. We're in, but just so people know that their criteria, because that's the biggest thing. I was like reading their criteria to be like, okay, what were they doing to decide the top 100? And so basically what they're saying is it has nothing to do with how a game holds up now. We're not comparing like current gen to retro or anything. They're just saying it's like, these are the games that made the most impact when they came out during that time.
I can see that.
And that they enjoyed.
Because number 100 was Pokemon Go. That hit the whole world.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and they also added like personal commentary about like what the game meant to them. Mm-hmm. So I imagine this was kind of like a collective of like what people put in, and then they probably rated them versus on like so many people what they had. Because like Final Fantasy VII was 99. I would have placed that game much higher than some of the other Final Fantasies they had.
Right. And they also had stuff like they had GoldenEye in there, and I would have put GoldenEye higher for how much we played it. But it's like one of those things that, like, if you play GoldenEye now, or even if you even compare GoldenEye to some of the other games at the time, it's not that great of a shooter. It's pretty clunky,
right?
But the game, when it came out, it was just kind of blew up. Just the theme, the James Bond thing, the multiplayer. It just took over gamers at home.
Dude, it was really
and
fun.
64 owners. So it's just one of those things that it's hard to like pick the criteria when making a list like this.
Because it's not they pretty much picked like all Nintendo games. So, that was kind of like my thing.
Surprisingly, there's not. I mean, I did notice that IGN, have
their top 20 was very, very Nintendo heavy.
Well, you think about the 90s there, Tommy. It was really mainly Nintendo was a juggernaut.
Right.
Yeah.
But in IGN definitely has their boners for certain franchises and certain, like, because if anything, IGN is a Sony loving company. They love, I mean, the guy who co-founded it is a big Nintendo fan, but if you like watch, they have so many PlayStation shows. They love PlayStation. Mm-hmm. Like, I guarantee their game of the year this year is God of War, because they are PlayStation fanatics.
Red Dead Redemption.
No, I guarantee they're going to give it to God of War.
It's going to be tough, because didn't they give it like GTA 5 game of the year when that came out?
Look what was number 9 in that list.
They do. Yeah, the first Red Dead, that was another thing that like confused me.
So I thought it was an okay game. Like, I didn't pre-order them.
Yeah, they're going to have a hard time this year because they love PlayStation and they love Rockstar. So they're going to have to pick between God
I think it was
one
of the best sandbox games out there. So that's just
it was good. I won't say it was bad by any means.
Was the original Red Dead a sandbox?
No,
I thought it was a little more.
No, they bought the franchise from somebody. I can't remember who.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Red Dead Redemption.
It's kind of like how Fallout wasn't originally at Bethesda. It was somewhere else. They bought the franchise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right.
Well, anyways, so I guess this is going to be confusing for fans, or listeners. We don't have fans. It's like one of those things that it's kind of confusing if you don't see the list to know like what we're talking about. But
let's just sit there
to like run
10.
through it.
Let's set their top 10.
Or maybe top 20 or something.
All right. So we got number 20. 1, Super Mario World. All right. Mm-hmm. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Portal 1.
Portal was good.
Super Metroid. So the Super Nintendo one.
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past.
I agree with that.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Mm-hmm.
Tetris, which for its time, but it's just a basic puzzle game. I don't know. Whatever. Half-Life 2, great game. Red Dead Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario 64. Portal 2. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which I absolutely love that game. Wouldn't put on my top 20 of all-time favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 1, Combat Evolved. The original Super Mario Brothers. Street Fighter 2. Dark Souls, which I was surprised to see it so high up there.
Not me.
Grand Theft Auto 5, Chrono Trigger at 18, the original Doom at 19, and The Last of Us at 20. So, granted, I wouldn't say there's a game on that list that I say is garbage. By all means, they're all great games.
Right, absolutely.
Not my personal top 20, but you had like 6 of those were Super Mario games. Like,
right. My things with their list is, well, one thing I was wondering is this necessarily ordered, or is this just 100 of the top games of all time? I would assume that it's ordered, but if it is ordered, it is confusing of like, okay, well then how do you choose what gets in the top 10 and the bottom 10 when you're like, well, yeah, when you're comparing decades, because if it's all based on just the impact during that time, then can you really say that, The Last of Us had more impact than, maybe a game that's further down the list, like The Legend of Zelda, the first one, or even Final Fantasy VI, because those are different decades and maybe they had more impact. So it's just hard with 100 games. I did mention in my comments looking over it, they definitely had too many games of certain franchises. There were too many Mario games on this. There were too many Metal Gear games on this list.
I'm not a Metal Gear fan, so any of them were too many.
I was surprised they have Rock Band on here, and that's the only music game. I thought Guitar Hero was a better music game than Rock Band.
I agree, but Rock Band was the first one that introduced the drum kit, the microphone, and all that. So it was the real.
Yeah, but it was kind of clunky in comparison.
I'd rather play guitar on Guitar Hero. But Rock Band was kind of more the push to the party game, where it was a full group versus just like the other one was more of a single player game. It wasn't until the later years that you got to play like cooperative on Guitar Hero and stuff like that. You had your battles, and that was about it on like 2 and 3. But Rock Band was the big cooperative one. So I could see why they would put that on there over it. Definitely better than like DJ Hero,
Yeah.
DJ Hero.
Do you want to just kind of round robin on our comments of their list, or?
Yeah.
So just some notes on this. Isn't like what I would add or what I would take off. This, I guess, is partly what I'd take off, but this is just my comments on their list as is. I felt Warcraft 2 could have been higher up. GoldenEye, Skyrim, Silent Hill 2. I would have put those higher up on the list than where they're at. I felt like Wind Waker and Majora's Mask, I would have flipped. I feel like Wind Waker is a better game than Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I didn't really like Majora's Mask.
Because Majora's Mask was great.
So I could only play it a little bit.
Well,
yeah.
For Majora's Mask, I liked it more after I learned more about the
repeating timeline.
Right, and that what actually signified more about death and stuff like that. So I actually liked it more as I got older because I found out about it later on. So I like Majora's Mask above Wind Waker. That's just me, though.
Yeah. And I guess Wind Waker is more of like a cult classic kind of game where like people had a lot of resistance to it at first, and then they decided
the way Link looked. And what got me
self-shaded, like
right. What got me was when I was playing Wind Waker, they were saying like he doesn't have any link to the actual Hero of Time. So to me, it was like I didn't really feel connected to the character because he wasn't really connected to any of the heroes. So
right.
So, but that was just me.
So I don't know. I enjoyed it more like gameplay wise and the dungeons, and I did like the sailing aspect. So I would have flipped those personally. Like I said, I would have put Guitar Hero, not Rock Band. Too many Metal Gear games in there. Too many Mario games. Probably too many Grand Theft Auto games on the list. Then I also, again, I guess this depends on whether or not they're actually putting it in order or just listing 100 games. But I thought Super Mario World, great game, probably wouldn't be my number one on a top 100 list.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, Mario 3 probably would be on mine, but the I don't know. I really like Super Mario World a lot, but I probably had more fun with Yoshi's Island than I did Super Mario.
Really?
because it was different. You had a little floating guy, and all that stuff. So, it was
The
just,
old little floating guy.
yeah, I don't know. It was fun. You had a little baby Mario on your back. You have to go save him, and that's when I started implementing the red coins and all the hidden stuff. So, what about you, Rickus?
Me, for the list, I do like the list a lot. Even though it's all Nintendo, but a lot of those games resonate with me. All in the 90s growing up with Mario.
Yeah, we're 90s kids. Yeah, it's our introduction to video games.
To me, I like the list. There's a couple things I would have put a little bit higher, like Minecraft. I know you guys may disagree with me, but Minecraft I think should be a little bit higher.
No.
The game's still popular today. People are still playing it 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
it's one of the first games to be cross-platform as well.
Mm-hmm. Just like WoW, I think WoW should be way up there. That game's spanning almost 2 decades now. It's still going. Still resonates with a lot.
I would say I was proud that there were so many Blizzard games on there.
Yeah, a lot of Blizzard games.
Pretty much at least one from each of their franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, on Dark Souls, I would leave them where they're at. I think they're one of my favorite games in the world. But as far as like the top 100, I think they're in good spots.
Would you have put the original over 3? Because I think they had the original higher than 3 and Bloodborne.
Original was more linear. Then as 2 came out and 3 came out, it became more open, more like
3 was my favorite.
Yeah, 3 was definitely my favorite. But it was. I would leave it where it's at. Yeah. And then let's see, what was the other? Overwatch. Definitely put it in the 30s at least.
Yeah, it was at, what was it, 50?
Yeah, 51. I mean, overall, I think the games that are in the top 100, I don't disagree. Just the order. I think the order is just a little for me because I like.
We're all biased,
yeah. Right. So, but as far as what made the top 100, the only one I probably would throw out is Pokemon Go. Don't really consider that a game. Or a video game.
It was revolutionary, man.
I know. But
it's probably why they put it at 100.
Yeah.
It's because
it was like an honorable mention
in there, and it did like take the world by storm.
Yeah, but Metal Gear games, I never played them, but I know there's tons of people who do. I'm not a fan of them. I was disappointed that they didn't put God of War, the newest one, on there. Maybe.
This one came out before. This list came out before. This was
really?
earlier this year.
Was it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Never take it back.
It was like summer.
And
summertime.
We'll get to that because I think after Tommy makes his comments on the list, we can talk about games that we would have added that weren't on there.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so mine, well, for one, Final Fantasy VII would not be freaking 99. No, that's garbage. That game
that game's garbage.
And the fact that there was no Final Fantasy VIII on here, but Final Fantasy VII was 99, I mean, whoever did this list was wrong. Tetris would not be in the top 10 games of my favorite in life ever. It probably, I don't know that it'd even be on the top 100. Like, it was a good game. Like, cool. Like, it came out for the Game Boy. Oh, let's drop shapes real quick. And you had to get real fast at it.
Again,
like,
they're talking about, like, the impact
it had good replay value.
The time it came out.
And Pokemon Yellow, but not Red or Blue. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I was going to say something about that. But Yellow was, like, the improved version of Red and Blue.
Yeah.
Added things to it. Come on, surfing people.
I mean, honestly, though, like their top 10, they're all super solid games. None of them are bad games by any means. The next round, their top 20 even are still really good. But I would have flipped some stuff. Like I wouldn't have picked Halo 1 over Halo 2. I thought Halo 2, with it having the multiplayer, the being like the front runner for Xbox Live, I felt like that had a much, much bigger impact on the gaming community than Halo 1.
I think Halo 1 was impactful as far as like creating this expansive universe in a shooter and like kind of having a character story for a shooter, because before that you had games like Doom and GoldenEye and stuff, but there wasn't a real connection to the main character as far as shooters go. So I think it was revolutionary in that aspect. But yeah, Halo 2 was a much improved game, and the game that pretty much introduced online gaming to consoles.
Right.
So I think that impact is much bigger than the original. Like
they had the original Doom, but not the updated Doom on here, which that came out way later. And that game was freaking amazing. Absolutely loved it. No Diablo 3 on here, which I thought, 2 was definitely like legendary.
Everybody loves
3 was freaking awesome. I mean, they did have Deus Ex on here. There were so many of these games that just like going back, I was like, holy cow. Like Modern Warfare, I would say if you're going to call it a Call of Duty, the original Modern Warfare.
Original man.
You know, so like good on them for that. I mean, they had a lot of really fun, good games on here. There's not much that I would really add to the list. Final Fantasy Tactics was way ahead of Final Fantasy 7. Another one that's wrong. It's definitely 7 then Tactics.
Tactics was fun. I loved it.
Tactics was fun.
But how are you going to put Tactics up there and not like?
But how do you put Tactics
or
ahead of Skyrim?
Yeah.
How?
That's true.
Skyrim's definitely a top.
And why
10.
would you put Tactics up there and not like Advanced Wars or?
Right.
I guess they did have XCOM on there.
They did. You know, but I mean, they had a lot, and they had some JRPGs, Persona, like the real heavy.
There was a couple Personas on there,
but I've never played those. So, Mega Man 3, which I would have totally put Mega Man X. Like by far, that was the best Mega Man.
Yeah, it was hands down.
So when all comes down to it, it's actually a really great list. I don't agree with the ranking of some of the games, but the fact that I was surprised that I was like, holy shit, I played a lot of games. Like to say that, all right, I confidently remember playing 70 out of the 100. So I don't know. It's fun. For me, like when I saw that, I just kind of hit like down memory lane. I was just like, there's some of the stuff I really like, some of this I don't. And like Final Fantasy 7 and Skyrim, those are wrong. Those are just wrong. Bottom line.
Okay, we get it.
Those are wrong.
So should we kind of list off games that we would add or like on our top 100 that we would have on there that they didn't?
Sure. I need some time to think about this.
Okay.
So
I think we
have
to pick one game from the list to take it off and put our game in there.
So to swap?
Yeah, swap out, bro.
Okay. I'll do a swap out. That's pretty.
I can definitely.
There's a lot of games on there I didn't play or that didn't stick home to me. Okay, well, I guess I'll go first because I have mine written down. I would just get rid of both the Personas. I never played them. Okay. I'm sure they're great games, but I don't have the nostalgia because I didn't play them. So I would add Dead Space. I think Dead Space did a lot for the horror genre and especially sci-fi too. Love that game. 2, I thought it was weird of the Star Wars games they had up there. I get KOTOR, but then they had like Jedi Knight.
Which that was a lot of fun. That was a PC game.
Yeah, but they didn't mention like any of the OG
Racer,
like Rogue Squadron or Rogue Leader. Like those were excellent Star Wars games. So I would get rid of Jedi Knight and put like Rogue Squadron. Love that game. I was surprised there was no Perfect Dark up there.
Yeah.
So if we're talking shooters, I would take down Deus Ex and I would put Perfect Dark up there.
What? No way. No way.
I don't know how I feel about this. I liked Fallout 3, but I almost feel like I thought Fallout 4 was a better game.
Absolutely.
So I would have swapped Fallout 3 for Fallout 4. Then I noticed there was no Splinter Cell on that list, and I'm a huge Splinter Cell fan.
Snap.
The best stealth game out there, and specifically Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. The second one was the best of the franchise, I think. So I would put that up there. Take down one of the Metal Gear games, because Metal Gear is not stealth. Maybe the first game was. I was surprised there was no Tomb Raider game up there at all. Not that they're necessarily the best games, but it's definitely an iconic franchise. So to not even have like one of the originals, I would put up one of the newer ones, like the first of the reboots. I would put up there, and then lastly, Twisted Metal's got to be on there.
No, that was going to be mine. Damn you!
We put many hours into that.
One game turns into 20 games until we reworking the entire list.
We didn't say one game. I just said whatever games you think needed to be on the list. Man. Well, I'm glad we all have that in common. Let's take down Rock Band and put up 20.
No, let's take down Pokemon Go.
Take down. Let's take down these 436 biddies by Green Fiend.
What?
So, Rickus, what games are you going to add to that list?
Games, Donkey Kong Country. I think there was original Donkey Kong.
Nintendo one?
The Super
Yeah.
Nintendo one. I love
that
game.
came on Game Boy as well, right?
Probably.
No,
It was Super Nintendo originally.
I just thought it was Super Nintendo, and it was so fun. I played a lot.
They're
of that
so
game.
much harder than Mario.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So I would take that out, swap out Pokemon Go because I don't need that in my life.
Right.
The other one, which you mentioned, I was going to put Perfect Dark on there. I would definitely take out the Metal Gear games. I don't need any of those.
Nope.
Twisted Metal 2 was my favorite game, so
Mine too.
I was going to put that on the list.
So much Twisted Metal 2.
So much Twisted Metal 2. I know. Sweet Tooth was the coolest. He really was. Oh yes, the fourth one I had is the Demon Souls. The
original
that came before the Dark Souls, before they had the force to change the name. So Demon Souls was what kicked off the developers, what made them put them on the map. So I would definitely put Demon Souls up there.
What would you take that?
I would take down the Personas because never played any of them.
Yeah,
me either. Man, so I mean, you guys hit on a lot. What would I throw on here that was not on there that hasn't already been said? Man,
you'll have a hard time just thinking.
I know
you played.
I know because it's like I played like 4 games in my life, so even like new ones, there aren't too many that I would really throw on. I mean, I'd probably put this new Spider-Man on there. That was fun.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah, I forgot God of War. I put God of War on that list.
Yeah, God of War. I'm gonna. Yeah, you already said Fallout.
Yeah,
I definitely put the new Doom on there. Like,
yes,
I'll put the new Doom in. Man, it's almost all my favorite games are on that list. I'd probably put more Final Fantasy games instead of the Persona games because those, I don't know, I never played them. Never had an interest in them. Evil Within, that'd be a good for the horror one, but no, that game scared me. I couldn't finish it. Man, trying to go back and just think of games that like
scared easily.
I do. I really do.
I can't wait to see Halloween this weekend.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm just having a complete brain fart. You hit all the ones that I had, and like Twisted Metal was gonna be like my big sleeper pick.
That was my pick,
because I would agree with most of the games that you guys pick, so I don't want to try to be redundant. But
whatever, be redundant.
I mean, I would probably add
the entertainment industry is very redundant.
Definitely put some Final Fantasy 8 in there. 14, I think that game was phenomenal for MMO. Man,
see what are
I would probably put.
Are we cool with Melee and not Brawl?
I liked Melee best personally.
Me too. Melee was
like Brawl was great because you could have Cloud in it. But that's about it.
I thought the Cloud was the
Wii U one.
Smash Bros. Wii U.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought that was Brawl. Whatever.
I don't know.
All I know is that Melee came on the GameCube.
Yeah. That was
everybody loves that game.
Phantasy Star Online. I would throw that on there. PSO, Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, I was trying to think of games that I know Tommy sucked hours of his life into.
I know. I would have put Skyrim higher, but screw that list. Skyrim needs to be higher.
I was surprised. Even Oblivion wasn't on there. Yeah, that was pretty.
It was, but I would like Skyrim and Oblivion were 2 different worlds. I think they were both good games, but Skyrim was just that much better.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
They already had Dark Souls and Bloodborne on there. I don't know. I haven't been super passionate about any of these new games lately. I'm really hoping some of these, like God of War, was phenomenal. I would definitely put that out there.
Even I would put the hack and slash games on there. I enjoyed those so much.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Devil May Cry. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Tommy's played so much of that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably stop there. There's a lot of good games. I don't know.
A lot.
So many games. And so many games coming out. Dude,
that's 100.
I'm telling you, what's going to murder me more than this year is February next year.
What games?
That month, I think everything that's not coming out this year comes out in February next year.
Isn't that when Cyberpunk comes out?
Is that Cyberpunk?
No, Cyberpunk's later, but it's like the Resident Evil remake, I think. Okay. Days Gone was supposed to.
Is Days Gone the zombie game?
Yeah. I think I saw something that got pushed back. But
that's the one where you're like, if you could build up morale, the city will change based on your actions, right?
no, it's the one that looks a lot like The Last of Us. With that guy, and he's in the forest.
Oh, it has the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah, and they have like the mobs that came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks more like a Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, but the zombies were a little bit faster.
Yeah.
I just remember there being a lot of things that are getting released in February next year.
Way to bring that up and not have the list ready.
I know.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to let us down.
But
all right, guys. Well, all right, so let's go ahead and just real quick round robin. Let's wing sauce this list that they put out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I can't give it a perfect or awesome sauce because they missed a couple of my favorites. So I'm going to give it a hot.
Okay. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. I would give it a hot sauce because even though I don't necessarily agree with the order, I would say at least 60 to 70% of the games on there I think deserve to be in a top 100 list.
Yeah, a good majority do deserve to be on that list.
Yeah.
Just a couple because of where biases towards certain franchises we would put.
Yeah, it's definitely more than half of them I agree with. So therefore, hot. It's not perfect, but it's not medium, which would be 50%, I think.
And I'm going medium because even though I did play 70 of the games on there, a bunch of the games that I did play, I wouldn't have put on a top 100 list. So I'm gonna say
that guy.
So I'm gonna be just a little different, and I'm gonna give it a medium. Done.
Dunzo.
Medium. Hot medium.
Tommy.
All right. So Rickus, do you have any Overwatch League updates for us?
Overwatch League updates with Rickus.
They have some teams that they're continuously signing new people. Some are trading. Nothing too big. I suspect they're waiting till BlizzCon to announce like the team names for the new teams that signed.
That makes sense. When's BlizzCon again?
It is 2 weeks from today. Actually, it starts a couple days beforehand, but the big main events are 2 days, which is the 2nd and 3rd of November.
Okay.
Okay. Real quick. Jason Petros has some comments on our Facebook feed about that list.
I just got so white.
He says Mario 3 was great. Was Dune on the list? No, Jason, it wasn't.
Dune wasn't.
But that was some pretty cool RTS.
It was.
I definitely put some hours into that.
Me too.
He said Halo 1 was the new GoldenEye. True. Halo 2 was competing with PlayStation SOCOM. Nobody played SOCOM.
No, I played SOCOM.
PlayStation terrible for shooters.
I didn't like it.
Command and Conquer was not on the list, but StarCraft was.
Command and Conquer was pretty cool.
That was another good RTS. I like Jason's dedication to RTS.
He does like the RTSs.
Warcraft 2 is on there. That's what got me into RTSs. Warcraft 3, I put a ton of hours into. StarCraft. Twisted Metal, yes. DK Country, he agrees with those. Far Cry, Witcher 3 was on there.
Witcher 3 was on there, but it was actually pretty high too.
Yeah. And Far Cry, no, there was no Far Cry on there.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, they're great games. And Gauntlet Legends, no, there was no
Gauntlet Legends.
Oh,
we did play a lot of Gauntlet.
We used to play the shit out of that.
Yeah, we did.
Basically, I think what needs to happen is we should do an episode about RTS games and have Jason be a guest on the show.
We should.
Jason,
and when does that new Command & Conquer mobile game come out?
No, I thought no one expected it to be a mobile game.
Yeah, everybody was like,
I know that was
Command & Conquer. Oh,
it was like you got punked.
Nobody plays mobile games.
You got punked.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but I heard it's actually not nearly as bad as everyone thought it would be.
I mean, it looks fun, but it's just, when you're expecting like a AAA game, be PC or console, you're just like,
and you're like, I can play this on my phone. It's not like it's a port of Fortnite,
Yeah.
I think that's probably what they're thinking that they were going to be is like, oh, well, Fortnite's doing so well, so let's do this. Although I'm sure that game was developed before Fortnite went mobile, but whatever.
Whatevs.
All right, guys. Well,
I got confused there. I just Ricky was in the middle of Overwatch updates, but I didn't want to.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, there's really nothing. I think we'll get a new hero from Overwatch at BlizzCon if the trend continues. We'll get new team announcements, new colors for those teams, and so really.
Didn't they? Weren't they hinting at there's not going to be a Diablo 4 announcement at BlizzCon?
They're trying to. They say what they're doing is they're trying to make sure people don't get let down. So they're telling people there's no Diablo 4 at BlizzCon. So people are like, right, buddy. We don't believe you.
Yeah. Don't know for sure, but I think they got a toy with something or a new expansion. I have like I wouldn't believe if it was just we're putting it out on Switch, which is happening the same day that we launch it, and we're going to talk about the TV show. Like, I feel like that would not be
maybe
enough.
That's what it is. I could see
maybe it's the TV show.
TV show, yeah.
Maybe that T-shirt was the name of the TV show. Or something.
Maybe that. I could see that.
Well, the Lord of Terror is what they've always referred to Diablo as. So,
right.
But there's a name of is what they said.
Reign of Terror. Yeah.
So maybe that's the name of the TV show. I don't. It would be stupid if their only Diablo news was like an expansion or something. People would be pissed. That game's so old. But
as far as his nephew, he loves Diablo. He's completely invested in the story. He says he wouldn't know what they would do as far as storyline because everything is done and completed. You killed everybody. So
yeah, but my point is, other than Tommy's nephew, who plays Diablo for the story? All they got to do is give me updated graphics, give me new monsters, give me
new loot.
That's what I said.
And new loot.
That's what I said.
Way more customizable loot.
Just
like I want to have like
no campaign, just do nothing but freaking adventure mode.
No, you got to have a little story to it. But they can even.
I don't even care. I still like a campaign mode.
Like
I don't care about
how did the Netflix start? Like before. The first Tristram, like put in a new place and have like a prequel or something. I don't know. I would buy it.
I could see it being a prequel. Then that would,
or even like a full rework of the first one. But add more classes.
I like your first idea, prequel.
Just like a prequel to it.
Yeah, prequel go like 100 years.
Show how Tristram went into decay.
So, yeah.
Anyways, I feel like we're jumping into quick bites again at the end of the episode. So,
anyways, no Overwatch updates other than the event, the Halloween event's going on right now. Get it now. It's limited time. Those skins are going fast.
I got my Reaper Vampire skin.
Limited edition.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and hit into the wing of the week. Snack of the week.
God, I'm quitting again.
Oh, no.
Yes. So, I didn't have a wing this week, but I wanted to so bad. So I saw that Buffalo Wild Wings was doing pumpkin spiced wings.
Actually, that's probably not bad because I've had
a couple friends that
chicken with like really sweet apple season, like apple chicken. So I guess sweet.
You have like mango and teriyaki flavors and stuff like that a lot of times. But I drove there and they were out of it. So I did not get to have them. That was going to be
you're coming. They're like,
so they're like, yeah, we're done with that. I'm like, it's just became fall weather. I want pumpkin spice everything. So I got let down. But my snack of the week, though, was actually Chick-fil-A. I hadn't had Chick-fil-A breakfast in a really, really long time. And I went and had one of their scramble bowls. And holy shit, that thing was good. It was just
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I don't know, but it was just a big bowl full of eggs and chopped up chicken.
As a Chick-fil-A junkie, I know everything that's on make.
Yeah.
I've had that egg and bacon biscuits, and then they have the cholesterol heart attack one where it's like the egg chicken sandwich on a bagel with cheese. Like
that thing is amazing.
It's amazing.
But no, the chicken bowl was great. I mean, they just cut up like I guess chicken nuggets or whatever, and then just a ton of scrambled eggs and cheese and stuff. And I was really surprised. I was like, "Holy cow, this is great!" And it was like less than $3.
Dude, I would totally go get that tomorrow if I just didn't love Oscar's breakfast burritos better.
Yeah. Oh, that had those like a week ago. That was really good.
What was that other place? Just Love Cafe.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I might do that because Tori's been getting tired of it on Sundays. So then I'll do that tomorrow and then Oscar's Sunday. But you got to get it with chorizo.
I did.
Ooh,
So good. And there's potatoes in it.
Mm-hmm. It's
that
filling.
sounds
It
amazing.
really is.
So what'd you guys munch on?
I'll go next because I know you had to say the restaurant, but you didn't have a good experience, but I did. So it was the Oyasha restaurant, the new Japanese hibachi sushi place.
Yeah.
I got the hibachi, which is the fried rice and the chicken. I thought it was really good. And I used yum yum sauce on my rice there, and it was I liked it a lot. The reason why I liked it better than Koji, I felt Koji's heavier. So when you're eating Koji's rice, you can taste the oil and just
Yeah.
Chop that stuff up.
It was cleaner.
Mm.
I think you misread. Like I don't know. I didn't have a bad experience.
Well,
I just
you say Koji is still the best hibachi.
no.
No.
Koji is
He
not
said-
the best hibachi.
He
I
just said
liked
he liked Koji's hibachi better.
than this
Okay.
place. But here's the thing: is I didn't have their meats. Like usually,
What'd you
I've
get?
been going to like when I go to Koji, I get veggie hibachi.
Mm.
And I got veggie hibachi here, but their veggie hibachi it was broccoli and like zucchini, and that was it. And rice. They didn't even give me the yum yum sauce.
Oh.
And then it comes with soup and salad, but the salad is literally lettuce with dressing, and then the soup is that clear broth with
Yeah.
like chives in it.
Mhm.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
that can just go straight in the garbage. But
Do they have
but
like
it was
the white ginger sauce on it?
so I mean, maybe their meat might be way better, but I haven't tried
Okay.
theirs. But at like Koji, when I get the veggie hibachi, there's much more veggies.
surprised you
Plus,
didn't do
you get the
sushi.
sweet carrots.
Why don't you do sushi? You always do sushi.
I like. I don't know. Today I was just like, I'm gonna get their hibachi. Next time I go, I want to try their ramen.
Oh, that's what we need to try the ramen together. I want
Yeah.
to try the ramen.
Yay for
Everyone's
ramen.
down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want to say it wasn't a bad experience.
Okay.
I was just like, of the two, Koji has better veggie hibachi.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. But anyways, that was mine. I had a good experience. Great hibachi. Good chicken teriyaki. Good rice. Over to you.
Did you get anything else there, or just the?
I just did that. It was a lunch special. Just did
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I ordered their spring rolls to try them out. They're
I didn't
pretty
try the
good.
spring rolls.
Yeah.
Was it?
They're
Oh,
pretty good.
never mind. I take it back. We got the steamed dumplings, which was really good.
Ooh, I love steamed dumplings. Love.
I guess I'll just talk about what I made tonight.
Ooh.
I made a fall veggie and wild rice soup. So it's like a kind of creamy, brothy soup with like carrots, sweet potato, mushrooms, wild rice, onion. And it's got like the seasoning in it is like that Old Bay seasoning. So it's kind of like spicy, but then it has like ginger and nutmeg and stuff in it. So it's got a very fall flavor with some little pretzel rolls to go with it. And then I made gingerbread cookies for dessert.
Which made the house smell very weird.
Yeah, the
Wow.
gingerbread cookies smelled like Indian food.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It smells like
Maybe-
curry or something.
Maybe you put too much ginger in them. Did you put real
Well,
ginger?
no, it's just a mix. It's like Betty Crocker's mix.
Gotcha. Oh man. Well, guys, I guess that wraps the show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and tell the folks where they can find you?
Rickus.com, the _ Rickus at Instagram, Twitter, Rickus out.
So fast. Just like everything he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, women like
That's
that.
what Kim said. So fast. Or that's when Ricky has 2 beers. He's so
Yeah.
fast.
2
He
beers.
becomes like-
whatever.
It's like Jackie Chan. He's just like,
More than 2 beers, more like 6 beers.
Hey, good night, Jason.
Jason, when are you coming back to Tennessee?
He said, awesome to see us do nerd shit.
Nerd.
I mean, that's what we do.
Mhm.
We're
we do all the nerd shit.
He's been a father for quite some time now, so he probably does no nerd stuff.
see when I feel like I'll be more nerdy when I'm a father because if I have to sit around and like watch a young kid, I'll just let them do their thing while I play video games.
Yeah.
It's going to make you a good parent.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna for my
Absentee.
kids to play video games.
Absentee.
That's a,
That's what Gary does.
Follow me on
Burn.
Instagram. _TNB.
and me at the Tommy Swags on IG and Twitter, and of course our show here on Twitch or Facebook as Game Snacks Show. That's Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, and Facebook.com/Game Snacks or /group/Game Snacks to join the community. There is a button down below, or at least the link, so you can find us, follow us, Subscribe, join us, email us, send us love, not dick
Don't
pics.
forget to tell all your friends for the greatest gaming podcast of all time.
Greatest show ever. And
IGN
subscribe to us on.
Yeah.
Right.
We're the best gaming show that any nerd could have. We're the best gaming show that
anyone
could have.
Yeah. And Toby's got whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Jason says he'll come to.
Ow, I just clapped my hand.
You're invited.
Invited, sir.
Invited.
Well, Ricky's about to have room too, because when I move out, you'll have this big house to
He's
yourself.
looking at houses while you're talking during your Call of Duty review.
Well, no, let's see. Our lender asked for the property address of the house that we like, so I looked it up to see what the address was. Because I'm trying not to slow down the process.
Over.